Welcome to National Podcast Post Month here on the Odd Dad Out podcast, where I am trying to do 30 episodes in 30 days because I am a glutton for punishment like so many other people. I am your host, as always, the busy as hell and playing catch-up Adam Higgins, the Odd Dad Out. And yeah, I'm playing catch-up. That's just it. So just to get it out of the way, I know I'm short 4 days right now. Long story short, house stuff, work, house stuff. Yeah, just so much going on with the new house and, you know, needing to, and documents and packing and all that stuff. It's that. And I spent this weekend, actually I had to do the very rare overnight trip for work, and was actually working up at the Grand Canyon this weekend. And so if you follow me on the social medias, all the places that Odd Dad Out, you would have seen on Instagram some of my pictures from the Grand Canyon. I only took one selfie because I don't like selfies, but lots of pictures of the Grand Canyon because it's nice and pretty up there and stuff. But I'll probably talk more about that tomorrow. But yeah, it's just been like busy. And I plan on dropping in some news stories and separate news episodes coming up in the next few days. Probably not 2 every day, but a couple extras each week to play catch up. And I still have some interviews I need to do. I really wanted to get those edited and everything for this weekend. I just did not have the time. And I've been holding off because the interviews I have left are some of the much longer recordings. And it's been tricky. I'm like, crap, really need a significant amount of time to sit down and edit those so they're ready. And that takes so much more time. And when I've got house stuff to do, it's just kind of, it's harder to find the time to do it. Anyway, the title, it implies, you know, so the title of today, you may have figured out, is now related to house stuff. Yesterday, Monday, the 11th, was Veterans Day here in the States, for those of you not in the U.S. And because Veterans Day is a federal holiday, the boys don't have school. My wife, who works for a banking organization, does not have work because banks get all the federal holidays off. And it's Monday, so I wasn't working. And because there's some things in the house that just require group work to get done, we decided this is going to be the day that we tackle the garage. And we actually had 2 fronts going because Rihanna and I tackled the garage. And while we're going through the garage, the boys were charged with going through and weeding out all their toys. So all the broken toys, the stuff that's like, oh, here's a set of things, but we're missing pieces, so we're not really using it, throw it away. So it was weeding out, throwing away toys, getting all of them kind of sorted out and boxed up so that we pack the toys away. So they were doing that. Meanwhile, we had to basically completely clean out the garage, drag everything out, sort it so that we're like, okay, this is getting donated to Goodwill. This we're keeping, packing away and taking with us. And this is just junk that needs to get hauled away. Now, this was a royal pain in the ass because we have a lot of crap in there. And if you are familiar, if you listened back and know, not too long ago, we got all new beds for all of the boys. So all of their old mattresses and box springs actually were still out in the garage, taking up a ton of space. And so that was a big thing. And then all the boxes for their new bed frames and their new mattresses and all of that, because we got them all Tuft & Needle mattresses that come in the big tall box. So all of that was still out in the garage, taking up space. So all of that had to get dragged out. And then we had probably a dozen or so just plastic tubs. There were just stuff that we had packed, stuff that we had packed up 2 houses ago and had basically just moved from house to house as we've gone through. And it's stuff like boxes of awards and knickknacks and and things like that. But it was also old dishes stuff that we'd planned to take to Goodwill, stuff we'd planned to get rid of, or stuff that we're like, we don't need this anymore. And just lots of junk that we were like, okay, we're not pack ratting our ways to the next house. We are going to weed through and filter out all of this stuff. And so yesterday we spent about 6 hours clearing all the junk out and going through every single box and tub of everything in our garage and condensing it down. And we took about 13 of these big plastic tubs and broke it down into about 3. And then the boys had 2 tubs of toys, which when I look at it now, I feel like they didn't nearly throw away as many toys as they should have. But it is what it is. Anyway, we've got all this, we pulled out all this stuff and so we like sorted everything out. And we're like, okay, on this side of the driveway is all the stuff we're keeping. And it's like, rocking chairs and it's like, all the stuff we intend to keep. That was just really just it. And the other side was all the junk and then the donation stuff. And so, we did all this and it was like, yes, we finally got everything sorted out. Now we have to put it back. And then it became reorganizing the garage so that all of the junk is on one side and then all of the donation stuff is one section. All of the keep stuff is in another section and getting it all nice and organized and neat. And hey, we need access to this thing because I think my sister's supposed to come by and get a dresser and a toy rack and some stuff that is just out in the garage. So she's got to, she's coming by for that stuff. And so that's got to be accessible. And I still need to have access to the lawnmower and stuff like that because it's still about a month and I'm going to have to mow the yard before we leave and stuff like that. So certain things had to be accessible and certain things had to be in certain places just for use function and all that. So we did all this. And at the end of the day, it was 6 hours we spent in the garage doing all this nonstop. We did not take a break. We did not, it was like stop for lunch, nothing. We just busted ass all day. And so, we look up and then after everything has been sorted and packed up and everything in the garage is still completely packed, but at least it's organized. We're like, you know what? We set the space for it. We arranged it because again, up to this point, every day I had been packing stuff. Every day since the start of this process, about 2 weeks ago, I guess, about a week and a half ago, I've been packing up different things. Entertainment center is pretty much all packed up, all the video game stuff and movies and all of these things. And so we had like 5 or 6 boxes in the garage already. Or not in the garage, but sitting in the living room that were already packed. And we're like, let's bring all that stuff in. And, oh yeah, over the weekend, they packed all of the bookcases and they filtered through the books because, kids and tearing books. So we had a bunch of books that were torn and the boys messed up and they threw away. And Rihanna and her inner librarian, just her heart sank having to throw away so many books because they were just ripped to pieces because little boys aren't as careful with books as they should be. But if you are familiar with the U-Haul boxes, 2 of their medium boxes, which I think are about 18 inches. I think they're 18 by 18. I could be wrong. I think that might even be 20 inches, 20 or 24. They're pretty good sized boxes. They're pretty much a arm span wide. 2 of those, like full cubes, packed to the gills with books. So each of these boxes is in the 50, 60 pound range. Just sitting there ready for me to take them out to the garage. And again, we've spent all day, moving mattresses and tubs and totes and boxes and dragging stuff all over everywhere outside and finally got it back. And now I've got to drag these giant ass fucking boxes and all of the rest of the stuff, the video games and the toys and all that stuff, now all drag that all out to the garage. So it's just kind of staged for the move. And I just those boxes were heavy as hell. And me basically being the only physically capable person lifting them is like, I'm like, can I pick it up? Yes. Is it a pain in the ass? Yes. It's also a pain in the arms because they're books and it's very dense. And I did not want to risk that the boxes would rip. So I didn't use the handles. I lifted them from the bottom and basically like bear hugged the box to my chest, so that, and walk all the way out to the garage from the living room with these like 60-pound brick of books. And of course, I pick it up and big, great, because, when you lift something heavy, you have to yell. It's what you do. Totally. It's just part of the thing. I get outside and it's like, why? It's like, what was that? Are you okay? I was like, I heard you yell. I was like, yeah, I was picking up the really heavy box. It just happens. When you pick up something heavy, you yell. Like, no, you don't. I was like, when's the last time you had to pick up something really heavy that you're going to yell? You just big grunt. Ah! That's what you do. You grunt. Anyway, in this whole process, never mind that it was a whole big day of lots of heavy lifting and back and forth and stuff. In the moving of one of those boxes somewhere, I pinched something in my arm. And now I've just got this big bruise along my left arm. It's killing me. It's like I just smushed and pinched something in my arm just the wrong way, moving one of those boxes. So, yeah. I guess it's inaccurate to say I can't feel my arms. I should just say my arms hurt like hell. That's it. Last night, I couldn't feel my arms. Today, hurts like hell. That's it. But I'm not changing the title because I already made the artwork for it. Screw it. Anyway, but yeah, that's what my weekend has been. Okay, that's what my yesterday was. And I'll get to the weekend tomorrow. But for now, you can subscribe to the show at odddadoutpodcast.com/NAPODPOMO 2019. And that's again specifically for this. Or again, everything else is at odddadoutpodcast.com. I'm on the social medias at odddadout. Follow the show, share stuff, be cool. Donate on Patreon or buy me a coffee or do all the things. I'm terrible at outros, and especially with these condensed shows, I'm really just flinging stuff out there. But until next time, oddballs, thank you and goodbye.